Good morning students. Today we are going to start with the chapter 5 PHP functions and arrays. In this chapter we will discussing about what is a function, types of function and how to declare the function and how to call the function like that. What is the syntax of the function and array. What are the types of array and how to declare the array. What is the syntax for array, like that we will be discussing in this chapter. So let us start with the function. So function, you have come across the word function in class 11. So function is nothing but a block of code, a segment of code which performs a specific task, or action. So this is the definition for function. So consider an example. Here I have a program which consists of 500 lines. So I have to compile the program. So compiling this 500 lines or checking or finding the errors in this 500 lines is very difficult. It's very complex. To reduce these complexity issues, so they have developed the concept called functions. So I am segregating the 500 lines into various blocks, separating the 500 lines into various blocks. Here similarly you have a real-time example. We have got 500 students, 500 11th standard boy students. So rather putting them in the single class, that is the single program 500 lines, putting them in a single class, it will be very difficult to manage the students. It will be very difficult to identify the students which group they have taken. So it is also very difficult to take the class, putting them in a single class. So for that we have separated the classrooms based on the groups, Now it will be easy for the easy to manage the students. Likewise, when you separate the program, based on certain functionalities, based on certain functions, it will be very easy to manage the program. It will be very easy to handle the program. So this is the major concept where the function plays a role. Okay. So the function must be called for execution. We have prepared to declare the function. How to execute the function? We have to call the function. Okay. And it returns. We have declared the function for performing a specific task. We have called the function for execution and it returns an output. It gives an output of any data type, of any types of values. It may be an integer or string, whatever may be, and it also may be a null value. So this is all about the function. So what are the advantages of function? It improves the clarity of the code. For example, here it improves rather handling 500 students at a time, by separating them based on their group, it is easy to handle the students. Likewise, it improves the clarity of the code. So for example, here this insert function will do only insert task, and delete function will perform only deleting task. Like that, it will increase the clarity of the code. We get a clear idea about the program. So next, reuse of code. After separating this, we can reuse the code whenever necessary. Similarly, we can, after separating the groups, we can reuse the groups. Like in the next year we can use the same group. Like that we can reuse the code. And last one is, it decomposes the complex problems into small. So these are the advantages of functions. Okay. So these are the three types of function. First one is user defined, predefined and parameterized. These are the three types of functions. So let us see how the functions to be declared, how the functions to be called in the upcoming session. So let us start with the various types of functions available. So first, let us see about predefined function. So the term pre, the word pre means the task for the specified function will be defined in the PHP code library itself. So that is the meaning of predefined function. For example, so we have string compare. String compare, it compares two strings. So this is the function. This is the task assigned for the function. It will compare two strings. Here MySQL connect. It will connect to the database. This is the task which is predefined in the PHP library. So it cannot be modified. So this is about the predefined function. So next is the user-defined function. So why the concept user-defined function came? Because all the actions, all the tasks cannot be completed or fulfilled with the help of predefined function. Every user have their own task to be performed, Okay, so for that purpose, they have created the concept called user-defined function, where the user can create their own function with a specific task based on their needs. So this is the main purpose of the user-defined function. So while creating function, two things to be remembered. So first one is the function declaration and the function calling. So we have told that only by calling the function we can execute the function. So we need to be remembered on function declaration and function calling. So let us see how to declare the function. So we have to use the keyword. This is the keyword function and function name, and the function name must contain this open bracket and the close bracket. It can be either empty or parameterized. That is the next concept. That is the parameterized function. So the function must begin with the open curly brace and the statement or block of code, and the function must end with the closed curly brace. So this is how we have to declare the function. The function to be declared with the help of function keyword and the function name with open bracket and close bracket. It can be either empty or parameterized, and the function must begin with the open curly brace, and the statements can be given within the open curly brace and the closed curly brace. So this is how we can declare the function. How we have to call the function? Now we have declared the function. We have to call the function now. How we can call the function? Just by the name of the function. So you see here, we have the open bracket and close bracket, and a semicolon must be given while calling the function. Whereas while declaring the function, there won't be any semicolon. Whereas while calling the function with the help of function name, we must give a semicolon. So this is how we can call the function. Let us see an example, small example. So function I am giving the function name as add, I am just going to print the addition value, and I am calling the function. Once the function is called, it will search with the function name. It will check whether the function name is available or not. In case if the function name is not available, it will return an error. So it will check there is a function name add, it goes in, and what are all the statements given in the function will be executed. So this is how the function to be declared and the function to be called. So next is the parameterized function. So parameterized functions are nothing but the values can be passed between the function declaration and the function calling. So let us see the syntax. Function name, arguments 1, 2, like that it goes on. So these arguments are called as formal arguments, and the statements while calling the function name, and the corresponding values must be given. Say for example, if I am using 3 arguments, I have to give 3 values. So these values are called as actual arguments. So these are the actual values or arguments which is stored temporarily in the formal arguments, that is the variables which are stored as a formal arguments, and these variables can be accessed within the function. So this is about the syntax of parameterized function. So let us see an example for that. So here function name a comma b, and I am directly printing the addition of a plus b. So I am giving values. So now the value of a is 5 and the value of b is 6. This 5 and 6 will be passed to this temporary variable, and this temporary variable will be accessed within the function. It cannot be accessed outside the function. So the scope of the variable will be within the function where it is created. So we have told that initially the function will return a value. So here we are not returning any value. We are directly printing the values within the function. Similarly, we can the same concept here. I am just printing addition. This is text concatenation operator. So the value which I give within the double quotes will be printed in the browser, and the dot is text string concatenation operator. So I am just calling the function here. Now the values will be passed and the process will be taken. 5 plus 6, the value 11 will be stored in C. Here in addition, I am going to write the statement called return C. So the C will have the value 11. This statement, return statement, will go where the function is called. We redirect to where the function is called. The value will be displayed here. So this is how the function returns the value. So next we will see with the what is the array. Let us see what is array. So array is a concept which stores more than one value of same data type in a single array variable. So this is the definition for array. In PHP, the array concept is used in for each loop. So the array concept in PHP is used in for each statement. So there are three types of arrays. So first one is the indexed array, associative array and multi-dimensional array. So let us see one by one. Before going to the various types of arrays, we will see how the array to be declared. What is the syntax for array? Okay. So this is array variable. In function, we have mentioned the term keyword called function before declaration. Similarly, we have to declare the keyword array in the array declaration. So, array and the various values. Values 1. Like that it goes on. This is how we have to declare an array. This is the syntax for array. The values which are stored in the array start from the 0th position, first, second, like it goes on. Not as 1, 2, 3. The array element starts with the index from 0, 1, 2, like that. Okay, this we have to keep it in the mind. Next, we will see about the index array. Index array is similar to the array declaration, where the values can be accessed, with the help of the index. For example, I am having a variable as student. And one more thing, the values, if it is a string, we have to mention within double quotes. In case if it is a number, it can be directly given. Okay. For example, consider this is the array. So I have to access each element. So see, student, that is array variable, we have to use the square bracket and we have to mention the index. So if I mention 0 means the value A will be accessed. So this is how the index array works. So next is the associative array. So associative array is a key value pair data structure. So the value will be assigned to a key and this pair will be used in the array elements. Okay. So instead of using a linear array, continuously giving the elements like this and accessing with the help of index, we can assign the value to the key. So this forms a pair. This two forms a pair and will be this pair will be given as a element of the array. So the value can be accessed with the help of key. So let us see the syntax for associative array. Same array variable array. Here you see key 1 and this is equal to and greater than sign. Okay, and the value 1 comma key 2 and again equal to value 2. So this is how the associative array works. The value will be assigned to a key. With the help of the key, the value can be accessed. Whereas in the indexed array, you will be directly mentioning the index value. Whereas here, you can store the value to the key. So that is we have given. We can store in the key value combination. Okay. Let us see example. Student array, mark 1 as 35 and mark 2 as 70. Here we have to note one thing. We have to mention within the double quotes both the key and the value. Okay, this is the syntax. This is the syntax where we have to mention the key and the value within the double quotes. And now I am going to access the value of mark 1, student mark 1. So I am going to print mark 1 and a string concatenation operator, array variable, and we have to use the square bracket. Here you see the difference. While assigning value to the key, we have to mention within double quotes. While accessing the value, we have to give it within single quotes. Okay, this we have to make a note of it. So this is how the associative array works. Next we will see about the multi-dimensional array. And the last topic is multi-dimensional array. So the term multi means it contains more than one value, more than one array, multi-dimensional array. Okay, it is an array containing one or more arrays as the elements. Whereas in the array you will be having some elements. Here in multi-dimensional array, the array itself will be an element of an array. So let us see the syntax. Array variable, array. This is common. Whereas here, in previously in index and associative array, you will be given directly the elements with the or the key value. Here you have another array in which you will be having the element. This is the first element of this array. This is the first element of this array, and this is the second element of this array. Okay. So we have told that the array elements will have the index value starting from 0, 1, 2 like that. This first index is 0 and 1 and 2 goes on. Okay. So let us see the example. Student array. Inside that array we have an array. This first element is stored as 0 index. The second element is stored in the first index. Okay. Inside that we have an array. We have some elements. So inside this, the first element is stored in 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. So while accessing the element, we have to use two indexes. Okay. First index is the outermost element and the next index is the innermost element. So let us see how we can access it. This is the example which is given in your book, and in page number 103 or 104, this content is wrongly printed. The punctuation marks is wrongly printed in the book. So you make a note on this and strike out that. This is the first echo statement. You write similarly for the next two echo statements. Okay. So first name, which is to be printed, I am giving within double quotes, and the string concatenation operator dot, and I am going to access the array element. Student with the help of array variable 0 of 0, which means the first 0 mention the outer element and the second 0 mention the inner element. Okay. Likewise, I am accessing each element. So this is how the multi-dimensional array works. With this, the chapter 5 gets completed. So in the next video, we will start with the chapter 6. Thank you.